great to see everybody doing their pre-flight checks before they come on position directions. To understand, you have the power direction of time and anything through space positional calculations. To understand, you have the power of your existence that opens all connections to its position, location, and directions. Right? Trust your system, trust your vessel, trust your heart, and you never go wrong. Those are 3-line centers right there, guys. Whatever you perceive, whatever you want to see, you will see. How you want to see somebody, how you want to see something. Okay? But you have to understand, it's not that perception. You just think it is. That's your confusion. You create it. Nobody else does. If your vibration changes, it changes the vibration of its connection. Okay, true linear thin line system. To understand 2-track line centers, right? Position of gold and positions of levels of light. Now the gold line center, light strip interference location, all levels of circuitry light, right? See that? I'm touching that, right? Because it's responding. So if I'm not aware of what that is in my electrical system, if I don't know how to balance my communication system, right? But if I know how to balance it, it goes right through because it's balanced position, location, and calculation. So not only am I perceiving what it is, but I know exactly how to use it inside position, right? So think of it that way. Try to understand that you form your system in electrical light connections. And every time you touch your position locations, you're changing your molecule structure location. Your magnetic hands are in position once you come into the diffusion line. So it's about moving particle system from here to over here. And you feel the energy. It's like a waving system. And it's moving back and forth and line center. Particle system over here, using the numbers over here, splitting it, bringing it back together, put it in position locations, right? Cataract of this, cataract of that, changing this, changing that. Electrical light system this, electrical light system that. It's all position location and how you use all levels of you inside connection, right? So it's all about understanding your position. If it doesn't understand, you're going to, you know what I mean? So it's all about balancing your system, right? See, now I can touch myself because I'm doing it from inside. If I'm doing it from outside, it's nothing but a reaction. So we all have to understand these things. And that's what I'm saying is when you perceive these things, know exactly what you're up against because you're creating it. As soon as you see something, you're creating it. It's in your space, right? You create it through your thoughts, through a projection from somebody else that brought it to your attention. Oh no, what are you going to do, right? To get rid of these things is don't create it, block it out, keep your fields up. Find a way to keep that vibration in a certain line, and that's going to help you out through triangulation location times pi. Better position location and calculations. So I hope that everybody had a good position, a recalibration line stream. We're going to go through high lines interference, location and grandfather lines of data stream interference, streaming your position location ancestry lines. It's really interesting we look at these things, how the merged position locations of father and mother in calculation are now merged in yin and yang, since 6-dimensional grounds and 6-dimensional nature in the Apser line system. Sky grids, sky grounds, sky interference location calculations. The more you understand your mind line center, the more you balance your position locations, right? Once you understand all levels of travel inside, then you understand position location of gold and position location of light and all track location, right? But as soon as I touch it, I'm fine. But if I'm not aware of what it is, right? So that's going to help you in all ways and forms. Really redirect location to its calculation because you're a magnetic line center that's trying to understand the molecular structure of you of travel. Okay. So merging in calculations when it comes into father line, all right, because he's awake, system. Mother's awake to the other locations. Father's coming into the creation location of foundations of space anomaly, and mother is the creation location, the earth line of its foundation location. So they automatically go through their memories now. So it's like when you wake somebody up, you go through the memory lines of 3 dimension. Okay, now I understand that to the physical line. I've lived the experience, but now I want to understand how to live the avatar line. So it's a switch. So now you're going in from 4th dimension to understand the recognition of time, the astral travels, astral projection, unified system, ascension location. Now I understand that calculation. Into that position location opens all levels of your perception, how you see things through everybody else. Because everybody else is all forms of light. You're looking around, you're scanning this, you're scanning that, you're seeing this, you're seeing that, and it's amazing what you're seeing because you're seeing it from all levels from inside. So you become the inner line center location to its calculations, right? Now, I don't want to get really into more line center locations of its chi. We'll do that another day. But chi is the connection to all levels of the inner light. This is the process you have to truly understand when you come back into level system clocking locations of familiar and high center locations of failure, into levels of humility, into being successful, into being humble. Okay? There's so many ways how to centerline your communication system. All right? But merging all levels of Father, okay, is all about understanding the atom Eve in you. Once you merge that into position of the left and right hemisphere, it comes into line, yin and yang. 2 process line, 6 is this program, 9 is you through travel. Teleportation location, geometrics, geometry, foundation locations. 2, it's all level system of dimension, direction, division, right? Understanding your line centers of gods and communication in a systematical system location gives you all levels of quantum physics. Physics 101, right? So in that position location, it's like atoms 101, right? You got to start not just thinking of an avatar. You have to become the avatar. You have to be the avatar. You have to say, I am the avatar. Okay? Knowing is not enough. Memory is all position, location, and directions, right? So once you get into that line center, it helps you out in all ways and forms. All right, so I'm going to get you guys in travel line. You guys are going to go through your ancestry lines. It's really interesting too when you go to calculations because all levels Father has a communication. I went through the ancestry line. You have to go through the same thing. That applies to visual location to understand all levels of the computer line center location, sky grids, and Skynet in communication all level system. All right, so tracking center locations. We're going to go through white graph line center. Okay, changing line rotation interference. Now we're going to go through metrical cube line rotation interference, matrix line connection, and position location directions. All right, channel lines. We start off with location of that. All right, signal and position of directions all through a cube. Now that cube is come in position. So imagine this: Father is creating his own space line, metric line centers, and Mother's creating the foundation of Earth line. So once it comes in a foundation, I create the number sequence patterns. Now that's all levels location, the laser direction line system. Remember, so it's kind of like creating a slide, a water slide for people to go down. It's a lot of fun. It's like you're going through that tube. And when you're going down through that tube, you're going like this, right? You don't want to go face first because it's dangerous. You go like this and you're going down and you're going, right? So it looks like you're going through down so many tubes, but you're only going through one. You are the center of you. That's a center operation. That stands on point locations. Once you stand the travel direction of time and you in space location, you're now in the inner tube of yourself, which is all energetic. So it's a magnetic line system location of cubical line connection, right? So you got Father and center line, and you got Mother and back position location calculations. Now the triangulating force position location opens all point system and direction locations. All right, this is how I set up your data streams and how you guys are going to travel. Point line center locations of directions, right? Your intention. What is your intention? What is your will? What's your force? What's your creation? What's your location? Where are you traveling to? Point dot line center. Okay. Take it out, position location disappears. Now, track interference. If you understand your position location, it changes position of directions. So it's important to understand that. Change the coloration line center. You come into security line position location directions. Changes point dot centers in calculations. Now you got one line center interference of direction locations. You have to use all point locations to its high line system to its direction. All right. Now it's interesting to look at these things, but you can see the fading system, right? That's when you look at skylines. When you're looking at night, and you see everything come at you. It's all coloration. You have to understand the communication, right? And then it disappears and reappears, appears and reappears. That's what it's doing. It's vortexing, trying to communicate to your grid system, to your position location, to your Schumann resonant lines, to your vibration location, to your heart generation light center. It communicates to everything inside of you, because everything that you're looking from inside is outside of projection. That's where you start living in the inline center locations and not the outline rotation. In and out and in is the inner line location. That's where you come into your communication of your chi, where it's created through location from the inside position of the heart line. Okay. So as you get in position locations, we're going to redirect signals in high center location of connection, right? High channel, high operation lines, centers, and interference. Position location, open up new channel operation line streams, calculation to all levels, opens all calculation to a system. Travel line centers. Now, once you come into travel line center, we're going to change position location on levels. Coloration interference location comes into black division line center rotation interference in position location directions. Okay. Now, once it comes in, it comes in, comes in, comes in, comes in, it comes in, comes in, comes in, comes in. All right. Central line communication. All right. Now, remember, every time you see a black hole, there's particle light streams around it, right? These are data line center stream locations, right? These are measure of communication cubical line center rotation. So in that position location, just because you see a black hole doesn't mean it's negative. It's all positive. It's what you see and what you perceive through your position locations. So right away, when you're in a black hole, you're connecting to a vibe, and that vibe is connecting to you through DNA. It recognizes your position location and how you use your energy light centers. Now, it opens up more and more and more and more. It gets bigger and bigger, bigger, bigger in position location directions. And then you see yourself traveling through. It's all line connection. All right? Now, even though it's black, you can actually see the picture. You can't see the picture yet because you're not there at the perception. So taking all those track egos out of line center interference, you're going to see everything through creation location to its position of directions. Knowing exactly what you're seeing is all levels of view in inside position to a securing line position location calculations. It opens all channels and high line center interference of dimensional location to a Fibonacci sequence of a high interference location calculation. Now, in that line center, you guys are going to travel through, right? Travel through line center interference of all position locations into an X-line system. Now that position location opens all line channels, okay? Puts you in a plasma channel position of security measured and position location calculations using cobwebs and high channel line center interference. Now set sonar line position of times pi. Let's change the coloration line stream. Calculation interference position location and directions. Let's go into light signal locations of yellow. Sonar coming in position location and directions, right? You can see the waving line center interference. The higher you go, the more you see electrical light connections and position location directions. Now, these are two line centers of times pi in position location direction, right? Now, it merges into one line sector. Communicate in position locations. It colors its line center, all position location of all direction location of its position. High channel is high line center and light streaming in position location calculations. High force all position line centers. If you can see line center, you can see intelligence walking the line center. See? See the intelligence walking location of security lines? See the feet? It's walking through. All right. Channel line center operation and position direction locations. Now, the channel operation line stream is on a high system. Sectors, vectors, quads, interdimensional, intergalactic line center, and turn it in one position location. Get them in formation locations. Cubical line centers that follow the communication of computer line centers of space. Space grids, space line center interference. Space anomalies, coloration paths, high position location. Mesokick, Metatron, high center location levels. Ancestry, in position, tree formation location, line conditions. Put you in a track line center, interference location, position of directions. Open all communication line center, in position location, all levels of tree formation. Trees coming into high interference, direction location is calculations. See the tree line? Structure, position, location, and calculations. Now, as you come into that, you come in a cosmic universal line. The actual galaxy line center changed position location to its cloud, coming into a new coloration line center location of tree formation. Tree formation comes into line center interference. Now you can see it walking its system location, and you can see the head actually turned up. It was standing position down, and now it's up. It's looking up position location and directions. So as it's looking at position, location, and directions, we're changing course line channels. That course line channel turns into higher formation locations. We come to security measures. Security measure opens all position, location, and calculations. High signaling, high center, and position locations using telepathy signals in position of direction. Okay. Now it's amazing how it comes into all levels of times pi. We change the coloration path in position of directions. Sets out sonar line centers, alpha wave communication. All right. Setting rotation line centers. Okay. So in that calculations, you're now traveling through all levels of father of foundation locations of space anomaly of 6D. All right. All right. So you got 30 minutes on the clock line center interference and direction locations. Clock is ticking. Have fun. All right. Travel line centers. Interference position location have changed. All right. So line center interference location calculations. All right. Lindsay, how's it going? Don, Terry, Johnny, Michael, Amby, Jill, Val, Airbender, Gypsy. It's great to see everybody. Pre-flights, know exactly what you're doing. Maddie, Heather, Pam, Little Jess, Jared, JP, Adam. All right. It's great to see everybody traveling, know exactly what they're doing to calculation systems. Knowing exactly what your future is, it's all levels of travel. The only way to do that is understand the structures of its travel. Okay. Okay, Veronica, Missy. All right. So you guys are already going through locations. Yeah. Ancestry lines of Olympian, Greek, and Roman gods of the Eternals. There you go, Jill. All line center locations of your ancestry lines, right? All through Father Foundation. So the more you understand the mind line center in calculations, grandfather is going to upgrade your line center locations. All right. So in that position locations, we now channel off into a new line center. Disappear to position location direction. Setting new positions, it's all levels. Now we can change course line triangle. Now I really want to get more in position location, especially for the new viewers that come in. I really like to start with all levels of 3, 6, and 9. You know, you come in position to take it out line centers. Very simple, very easy done. Calculation line system, security measure, communication. All right. So understanding what your clocking system is. Let's start there. Clocking system comes into all levels of 3, 6, 9, and 12. 12 position location, right? So this is more like a remembering cycle, something that you forget. It's always good to remember these things. We go through back clocking, but we don't bring it into forward locking, okay? Because if we do that, we lose track interference location of time. The space position location of levels of timeline system. I was saying that yesterday, line signals in position of reference, stating that when you're looking at your clock is a scale. So if you're in a 5-line channel in a 4-position location of 3-line systems, you're off balance through time. What do you think your time is? It's your avatar of travel, which is your scale. Your scale has to balance position, location, directions, all right? So if you're in your 5-position line center, you're good. See, solar flare, line signal. 4 is offline position. You got to bring in your either your atmospheres, your chakra systems, or your weather communication system. 3 is offline center, the sun. Sun has to understand its indirect location, its position of time. So you have to bring 3 equal line center locations of 5, 4 position locations into plus line triangle, high center location of 5. There you go, 5, 5, 5 in position of directions. Now you're balanced. Now you can travel location. See? So now you understand the importance what a clocking system is. It's all scales of you through your time frames that calculates and modifies and how you are off balance. Multi-pass. Now, understanding this calculation, right? You start with that. So we started this before, even before the test review and evaluations, how you go from 12, you bring the 12 up to here, right? The 12 line centers is position, location, directions. Let's change the coloration. So the 12 comes up here in this position, right? That's a half pipe. Half pipe line center, 12 records of time line centers. The particle line center change position locations to its direction. So let's go through different color. Change the color line center to purple location. Okay. You see a swivel line center in position location direction, right? All right. So once you get in that correlation, your 12 sequence patterns. Let's disappear line triangle. All right, gone position, location, directions. So 3, 6, and 9 is all based on you. It's how you use your time of reference. It's interesting to look at these things. Let's say you go through a purple triangle. We start with that location of 3, 6, 9. Now, this is the basic understanding of 3, 6, 9, and 12. It's not just 3, 6, and 9. It's 3, 6, 9, and 12. 3 equals line center of north. Okay? But north equals all line center of everything in position location. All right. Now, 9 is location of the center line, which equals line center location of triangulation of travel. Okay. Times pi. 12 is position your circle location. You bring 12 in position location like here. 12 comes position locations. 12 plus 12 equals 24. Okay. 24 sits in position location directions, and that's when you come into a full clocking system to its directory. The directory location is its projection location, its calculations, all right? So if you look really, really closely, you can see the intelligence, right? See the eyes, right? Now, it's amazing how you structure locations in anything that you do through division of the alphabetical line centers. Everything through number is everything through calculations. Everything through shape is everything through calculations. Symbols, energy, fluctuation, vibration, patterns, coloration, streaming, planets, synchronicity, locations, string theory, all levels of everything through vibration. So getting in that position locations, we'll take this out of track line center, clear position location and direction. Now, in position locations, I really, really like to stay with the triangle lines. Okay. There's so many different ways. Now you got a triangle line center and a rotation. So you got 3 line center here, 3 line center here. You got 6 up here, you got 9 here, and you got 12 here. It's interesting to look at locations, right? Now, let's go through all levels of black circle location line conditions. All right. So let's change that line center interference, position location calculations. All right. 6 here, 3 here, 3 here, 9, and 12. Okay. Now it's interesting to look at 6 equals program. Okay. 6 is the program line center, which is position of flux capacity location to all levels of the moon. Okay. Moon line center, right? 6 equals program. Now 3 is high line center location to equal line center, equal location to the sun, to its position, location, and direction. Now, once you understand the 3 line center location, you can change the 3 line center location into triangulation into 6, 3, 9, triangulation position. Now, in that rotation line centers, you got left line center locations all levels, and the east line, 9 equals east in position, and 12 equals west in position, location, calculation. This is about understanding how to use line connections at all levels of your diamond core of north, west, south, and east. Your number sequence pattern is to understand 9 is all levels of travel. Remember that because that's you in the center line. So you can go back into the center position location and create its own mapping system to its position, right? Coming into all levels of a communication of a harp. There's a harp, right? So we really have to understand what travel is and all level position location, especially when you're interaligning its calculation to the sun, the moon, or anything position location, how you are using pattern interference of 3, 6, and 9, and how to travel through all level position location and calculation. All right. All right. So let's take that out of the equation. Okay. In position and direction. So how are we doing so far? All right. Holding space, everyone today, busy at work. Okay, so just seeing where everybody is. Levels, warp speed, also sending some data, delta, balance, receiving, transmission, back in Omega. Great. Proud to be an Arcturian, or at least I know I'm free. Good, Johnny. Remembering cycle. Oh, Mary Magdalene. Nice. Understand what I already know. I'm sliding down the water slide. I'm going through all timelines, getting quick glimpses of the history. Well, there you go, Chris. So that's what's happening with everybody, right? So getting that position locations, knowing how you can use all levels of 3, 6, and 9, and 12 in so many line centers, right? Your harmonization is the center line that grounds your location to your soul, position location, all levels into your flux capacitor. Now that direct locations comes into all levels of your calculations to your matrix communication system, which is all levels of your top of the line center. In position of directions. Now, there's 2 cubical line centers, okay? But you got 2 pyramids, one here and one position location here coming together, okay? This is the atom line, okay? And this is the position locations of Eve, the high center location electron, all right? So as they come together, they infuse through an explosion. Position of directions are levels of water and fire, okay? In position. It's amazing when we see these things, all calculations, guys. It's incredible how it comes into that to its infusion locations. Let's change the coloration line center. In position of directions, change the color line center interference. So it merges into one location, right? So what that does is it just spurts out, spurts out, spurts out, spurts out, spurts out, spurts out, right? It's amazing when it does that. So anyway, the cubical line splits in position once this merges in, and then it comes into north, west, south, and east. So it's interesting to look at the locations. Let's go into the line center. This is where it comes into all levels of your position, right? You need that. That comes into all levels of your travels, okay? You need the north, west, south, and east because it's position of your diamond core. Now, when it comes into the diamond core, it resets lines to streaming interference location and colors. You have to learn how to use your ground sets as security lines, all right? So the security line center is the balanced position location and directions, all right? Crosses signals and high center interference. Merges in position location and direction location, right? That's what happens through infusion. So once that comes together, I just want to show you what happens when you get infused with the line center. In position of directions, now, let's go through white graph line center. Comes in position, location, and directions. Clocking system comes in, all right, like this, all right? That opens all channels and high interference. Now that directs location of signals, okay, coming into all levels into a clocking system. First, it's got to find its rotation. Atom here in position location, all right? So, and then Eve goes in the opposite direction. So Eve tries to find a way to get in the central line of one circuit line center of rotation. Adam and Eve have to come together location, right? So one goes one way, one goes the other way. So that's how it connected electrons and neutrons in position. So one atom here in this way and one atom here in the opposite cycle. Fibonacci sequence locations. Oh, there's the eyes. So as they infuse together like this in position, location, and directions, it high channels 4-line triangles in position locations to your Merkabah position. Now, that opens all signals to electrical light connections in positional directions, crossing signals, okay? That opens up the atom line center in the center position location to your fields in rotation to its calculation and unites the atom line system. So once it unites the atom line center interference, the Merkabah position of the triangle line comes in position locations, and the one at the bottom of E position comes in position location directions, right? And all levels of this position locations, the north, west, south, and east comes in position, right? So you're bringing this all into one, all at once. Now, once that comes into calculations, it automatically comes into high lines of all levels of yin and yang. The process of the atom and the process of the Eve is the line stream. It comes in position, but it has to find its direction. So it circles, 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 circles. It tries to balance out the emotional system, right? So that's a correlation to a system. Father is already setting up the foundation location. Mother's already set up the foundation location of Earth in 60 line. Communication laws of nature, high center interference. So in that direction, you come into this. Yin and yang, okay? Let's go in that process line interference, take track locations, disappear line center. In position of directions. All right, so once we get into that yin and yang process, we start here, right? And then we come into this. All right, so that's where Adam and Eve is finally finding a way to get in position of Fibonacci sequence and balance and getting into a levels of 6 and 9 position location. All right. So once it understands its rotation, it spins, 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 right? Your line signals, your ground line centers, your particle line center and interference location, your molecular light, your flux capacitor change locations, and you come into 3 waving circle location of Stargate line centers and calculations into all levels merging in position, location, and direction. So that's when you come into all levels more line centers in that calculations, position, and direction. So now you understand the infusion and harmonization, where the harmonization balances out the soul track location of its emotions, and everything through infusion brings you in position location of merging into one line center of yin and yang. Now you understand the process, right? Same thing happened with father and mother, right? That calculations, how we were birth position of your grandparents in all line centers of grandmother and grandfather, right? But that position location all levels, right? Father, mother equals line center of atom and electron. Okay, that's always going to stand on point. But what I'm trying to get here is for you guys to understand how to balance out your emotional system through your Schumann resonance and your communication system, how you communicate to your system and everybody else. It's all levels of channels up to telepathy interference, guys. All right. This is merging you guys into Heinlein center, into 6-dimensional lines. All right. No more blocking surface and position directions. Knowing exactly how to keep yourself balanced and always in forms through calculation times pi, time in positions, morphing communication times triangulation. So this is about understanding where you are, where you're supposed to be, and how to get there. Okay, so there's a lot to understand, right? The more you understand you inside, the more you balance yourself outside. It's a beautiful thing, right? So, all right, seeing something similar. Lucy sitting in the chair and flying through all the timelines. All right, Jill, cool. I like that episode. Yeah, interesting. Freezing the time a bit to see in more detail as I go through layer. And that's another thing when you guys get harmonized and fused, is not only that, but you can control your space and how you accelerate and how fast you go. You can slow down space and speed up space, but you can't stop space. So it's interesting how you balance out more line centers in position, location, and directions. It's all interline interconnection, right? But that's how you get infused through harmonization. All right. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Love, compassion, heart codes. Yeah. Connecting to the truth of my heart through Father, infusion complete. Yep. Setting balance in all timelines of love, light, intent, and gratitude. But that's the biggest thing. What is your intent? And be cautious in what you see, because you are perceiving of what you want to see. Just because you want to see it for what it is doesn't mean that's what it is. But right away, you think that's what it is, right? That right away is its ego. So if you let that connection in through its intelligence, you'll notice it'll have a big heart, right? Because you are the only one that creates it, and it brings it into your position of reality of your realm, right? So be cautious on your thought and how you get in position, location, directions. Get out of the thinking and get into the knowing and doing, right? No more hesitation. No more anticipation and waiting on this, waiting on that. Why didn't I get this? Why didn't I get that? Where's my abundance? That's all ego line. You're waiting for something that's never going to happen, because what are you saying to your system? And it's definitely not coming from the heart. I'll tell you that right now, right? There's no intention there, okay? You're lacking the information location inside position, location, and heart line. Doesn't stand its calculation system at all in any way and form. So, all right. Pure love, pure Zen. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Saw an angel, massive wings. Some avians are trains. Nice. Grid formations, steps to top of pyramid. Yep. You need to see what you need to see. The truth will set you free, right? Truth equals freedom. Freedom equals abundance. Abundance equals manifestation. Manifestation equals co-creation. So now you understand a little bit more, right? Look at that. Going back to all line center interference of back reference locations. Now, because you guys are coming in adaptation system, you have to truly understand the foundations of father, the foundations of mother, and your grandparent locations, grandmother and grandfather, how it all came about of space-time. Space aligned center is connected inside you. That's the co-creation, right? You just have so much time to create it. Space and time is one word. There's no separation unless you perceive it through separation, right? So that's what I'm saying. To know exactly what you're doing with your travel locations. Let's go through the red line center location of 369. I love doing 369. I used to apply it to division locations when I woke up, and I used to travel through 3 million in the 369 location of travels, going through one position location until all connections. Doesn't look like much, looks like a kite. But what you don't understand is I already traveled through it. But what did I travel through? Right? You have to learn how to travel without the ego, or you can't travel through abundance. This gives you abundance if you understand the correlation to its codes. Code of the system is location of sky grid line centers, so location directions, right? How to use your code referencing and code frequency location is all levels how you use your measures, but it's a scale line center locations of 441, way off balance, 2-line track interference, 4-line position locations. You have to be in 5-line to balance your communication of travel. Okay, so let's say you get 5555, but you got 441. What happened to the 5, or what happened to the next line center interference? Copy, delete. So that inline center location negative or positive. So, and that position locations, once you change that line center, 4 changes line center of 6, 4 changes line center of 6, 1 changes line center of 0 location and position. Now, 0 is the operation location of 6, 6, applied to the location calculations. So you can go from 1 and up, or you can go from 1 and below. Okay. So the countdown is 10 to 1, not 1 to 10. You don't travel through 1 to 10, you travel through 10 to 1. Blast off. In that calculations high system. Try to understand, even though you don't think it makes sense, it's all levels of vibration, right? How I relate to anything through letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols is all position location from inside line, and how I reference everything in calculation of force communications of backlocking or forward clocking. Okay, so let's take that out of track interference. Okay, delete that locations. And again, we come into the triangle, right? So 3-line position location all levels in calculations, right? So the thing is, you don't have to create these things. It's already created for you. But what you understand is why you create it in the first place. Because this is how you get your abundance. This is how the avatar sees its own levels of space. When you go through the I-line center and interference, and you go back, you keep going back, you're going to see dimensions, you're going to see shapes, you're going to see discharge, location, electrical fields, electrical fence lines, electrical plasma light, energy light connections. You're going to keep going back. But you're not going back. You're going forward. Back equals line center is equals to all lines to the location of future. Okay, so there's never back of anything for clocking. Because if you're back clocking, your position location of a triangle changes shift line centers. Right? So every time you go back, it's changing position location of direction. Right? So it's important you understand how to use your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols for the greater good, right? Put your positive cycles on position locations. Your clocking line channel can be on so many waving position locations and directions, right? So let's say you go through 40,000 line centers, right, of triangles equals triangles, okay? 40,000 equals triangles, okay? But you can't travel through that yet. There's no location. You got 40,000 equal position locations, all levels, right? But where's the location? It's got to be equal box, okay, into flux capacitor. Then you can travel location, okay? So you can circle line center in position directions and open all channels on north or south and east. Travel through its location, set a center line position because it's you, and then you travel right through it through its line connection to its position of time and its high system location, okay? That's what you need. You need your intent, You need the will, the force, the creation location. There's 4 line centers, 5 within position, 6 within activation, 7 within core. When I say 7 within core, that means the position of your line centers and position is coming into 5 atmospheres of time, of space, time. You're coming in your 12 line center locations of DNA line connection. So that's going to help you in all ways and forms. Hold on a sec. Getting position of direction is truly understand why it's so important to understand 40,000 line triangles. Like I said, you can't travel until you have a location. Okay? So that's something to look at. You know, I really want you guys to understand more of what you're doing, but perceive it. Perceive it that I know what I'm doing. I'm not second guessing myself anymore. I really understand what's going on. Right? So you can start off small. You don't have to start off with 40,000 triangles. Because remember, that's a lot of communication putting it all together. So it's like putting cubes together like this and trying to understand how to merge it into a teleportation unit. How do I turn this into a teleportation screen position location of a T reception line? How do I turn all that into a position? It's already there. You see it? So in correlation, this is what it is. Right there. That's it there. All this combined is this. So this comes out position, location, and attraction of what you just finished creating to its position of time. See? Travels out. I don't need the grounds. I don't need the powers. I don't need the atmospheres because it's already positioned in calculation. So I have the intention, right? Equals will. Will equals line. Okay, in that communication system. The will equals a line communication to its force. Force communicates all levels of creation to its location. This equals line center locations of 4 equals 5. Okay, high line centers equals triangle. Okay, box position. High line centers times 2 line center interference. That 2 position locations into levels of your line centers is 7. 7 position location in calculation. 7 at line center location into all levels of triangulation. Okay. 7 is the baseline. Out of the baseline, because it's your runway, you start with the 7 and you work with your 5. You start with that, right? Especially the ones that are getting activated. They have their stand, their position, how they use their transmitting and receiving information. Transmitting and receiving. Transmitting, receiving. Transmitting, receiving, right? So you're transmitting energy and you're receiving energy. Okay? So it's up and down in that calculations, right? That's a true understand when you understand more line center interference. Now, this is a lot more easier for everybody, especially for all the new viewers that are coming in. But starting with the triangles helps you in all ways and forms how to travel through it, right? Let's travel through just 2, okay? 2 triangles in position locations. Where's the travel line? Now, in position locations, it's off system. The arrow is pointing in the off direction, right? So you have to find a way to bring the force communication into the center line connection, right? Once you bring that, it basically puts back in position location to this line connections, comes into a full communication, right? From that to that. So in that line center, you come into all levels of escape. Escape position location shift flight navigations from 1 to 12, right? So 2 equals 12 line centers equals flight command, okay? Now, in that position location, the flight command comes into the center line connection of the levels of triangulation. Ooh-ah. Now you can communicate to that position location the levels from flight. So in that triangulations, you can go from escape, change the correlation of the geometry and interference that you are connecting to through its flux capacitor, and then you can change the flight navigations to its flight command of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all through triangulation. That's a lot of clocking, right? From 24, 48, 72, and 144. So it's very powerful when you do that location. You open up its dimensional realm of its portal, and you travel through it to its line connection. Ooh-ah. So There's so many ways to go through these locations, right? 3, 6, and 9, it's just a foundation. Until you understand that, you can't get into your weather. Your weather is a diamond. Okay, 3 position location is your body frame, but that's a triangular location of Adam. And then Eve is position location of its bottom. Okay, and then you got the weathers, right, to know exactly what's going on. And then you got the atom. You're infusing the atom position of Eve in calculation to create it. Once you create it, this and this comes in, this and this comes in position, and then you come into a communication of an infusion line center of a quantum line along rotation position, and the atom travels through its calculation. Hoo-ah. So there's a lot of ways to understand how to get into its morphing time, you know? Morphing into your pixel activation stream, morphing in your position location, how your digital line connections, morphing into your triangulations of 3, 6, 9, and 12. Or you don't even have to travel through 3, 6, 9, and 12. You could just travel through locations all just through 3, right? Because you already know the 3, 6, 9, and 12. See, if you're not familiar with numbers, that's your problem right there. Like, it's very important to understand these things. If I put position location and calculations, if I go 3 line center in calculation system. Okay, so there's 3, right? There's 3, right? Now, 3 equals everything. You already know that, right? 3 equals everything. But what is everything of 3, right? What is everything of 3? Meaning of life. Everything equals 3 equals meaning of life. Okay? Now, how is that possible that 3 connect to everything? Well, position locations, you turn it into a butterfly. Oh, look at that. Whoa, butterfly. It's not a 3 anymore, is it? So 3 can turn into anything. It can merge, it can communicate to anything. 3 can connect to a line center interference. I'll show you how it's done in position location calculations. You have to become everything of source. To understand source is to understand the vibration of 3. 3 is not 3. 3 is everything but 3. And we got to that locations. 3 could be a box line position location, so 3 line center in position location of 3 line interference. 3 could be a triangulation location of another 3 line center location of triangulation, right? So you got 3 plus 3, okay, plus 3, right? 3, 6, and 9. Look at that. So in that position, 3, 6, and 9. Hoo-ah, triangulation. All right, there you go. So it gets confusing, right? And this is all levels of 3. Go through your imagination. Go beyond the recognition of time. Morph in time, position, location, and calculations. How you can just travel through 3 and all line centers of triangulation, guys. Right? Becomes 3, 6, and 9. 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9. Hoo-ah. So there's a lot of ways when you see these numbers. You just have to balance these position, location, and calculations. Understanding the scales. All right, scale on one side, scale on the other side. Okay, understanding the scale. All right, scale is very important. Now I'll tell you why. Because it's connected to Schumann resonance, and you look really close, you can see all formation location of all line center of its intelligence. See, there's the intelligence. Graph line center interference. There's the shoulders. See, there's the intelligence. Ear line center rotation and calculations. There's the ears. Sonar line center location antenna. Oh yeah, welcome. So it's incredible how you set these things up in position of directions, right? Now the XD line centers comes in a high line center interference. They automatically go into the I receptor location, position location. That's where it comes into browse adapters. These are browse adapters. That's where you calculate high system, max, and calculations come into all levels of your angel. See the angel? The angel comes in high force line center, position, location, and directions, right? So that sets out signals of sonar line center and interference location on lines to the left, light, position, location, and calculations. Sonars coming in position, location, directions. High channel line centers, all position locations. All levels of south line and communication north and east and west position calculations, all through track location. So there's a lot of things you have to understand how to use your provisional locations. You're not seeing it from inside until you understand your login systems or what it is, the calculation, and what it is, the avatar line system. So it's not looking from the outside line, it's looking from the inside out. So you're in position until you go out, and then you're looking back in. All right. Until you understand that, you won't understand the mastering communication when it comes into levels of your chi. You have to use chi in letters, numbers, shape, and symbols. I showed you so many ways of traveling, right? But it's not traveling. Okay. You are co-creating your dimension of space-time, of your realities. So everything that you do affects everything you do outside, because you travel from inside. You don't travel from outside. So the travel is what? Your location, right? Travel equals location, right? Teleportation line stream takes the T line center interference in directions from here to here. Now, in this position location is times pi. Okay, you're already there. In position location, there it is. Crop circle coming in. XT 1000. Hoo-ah. So it's amazing how you create these things to anomaly. Your position of direction is truly understanding sequence patterns. Now, if you understand the code signals, let's say you get a box position location, a calculation box equals 3, okay, in position slash, okay, into ground lines, okay. So it's saying, so what's the box position location equal line? Well, the equal line center location of north, it's in position of south, but it doesn't have east and west. So if it doesn't have east and west, your correlation is just your thoughts are going up and down. That means you're looking up and you're looking down all through the brain system. You're not looking side to side through its equation. That's through box position locations of 3-line centers in ground line position location calculations. So it's amazing what you do with your thought lines. So if I'm thinking of something that comes to mind, and automatically I'm saying up, I'm going to look up because that's the response, right? Especially when I see something that's in my way and I see something that's high, I'm going to look up. And if I notice a sound barrier, I'm going to look down because I see something on the ground. That means I'm only in calculation in position location of north and south. I don't have the east and west because I don't have the sonars yet. If I get east and west location, that comes in high center interference, direction of both line position location calculations. That brackets its channel, opens all communications into north. North equals line center locations of east, equals line centers of west, and position location of south. Hoo-ah, calculation modification of the system. So it's very powerful to understand how to use your sonars. We'll get into that tomorrow. I just wanted to show you how you can basically play with your audio locations of your sonar line centers, echo chambers, communication or highlight centers, your alphabetical line stream, or anything through calculations, how you use your alpha channels, your delta position locations, your omega line center interference, the center position calculations, all levels, T reception line connections, all levels of theta line and rotation calculation. It's all levels of beta line centers. Now you can use a beta channel communication of sonar. So beta, okay, equals TV. Okay, beta equals TV. Now you box the TV line center, right? Come into 10 on position locations, right? Remember, you have to understand the communication of what it is and what you're creating, right? So electrical lights, electrical panels, electrical interference, and position location, change all line into green, and travel through it. There it is, traveling through it. You travel through a beta equal line center location of TV reception line. Now that changed modification line stream interference location calculation. Let's change the colors and pattern and position location to the moon. Moon comes in high center interference, low gravity line center location to line position locations. Moon equals beta communication system. All right. So in that direction, change the coloration line stream so you can actually see it. Right. So here's the outline center location. Here's position of center line equals line's location in position of direction. Okay. Moon equals beta. Now, yeah, understand a communication line center when it comes into levels of an audio disc and high center interference, sonar interference location of record player in calculations, right? So it modifies high signals in sonar line channels and communication line stream, all position, location, and directions. So in position, I can change the line center in TV reception to its triangulation. Hoo-ah, there it is. That's how it becomes a TV reception location to a beta line, all through the moon. Hoo-ah. So it's interesting how you look at these things and you're probably saying, what is he talking about? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So there's a lot going on. I just love to travel, and the travel is already done. But it's about understanding coming into your expansions of your minds, guys. Once you come into your expansion, you get a better mental picture of yourself. You're visionaries. Your visionary cortex is coming into its calculation, right? All right, so take you guys out of track lines, high interference to position location. There you go, back in the equation. All right, center line interference. Now, position location directions, one way to another way line center and position. You guys were surfacing in this line connections. I was taking your track line center, interference position, back in track location. That's how I brought you guys back. So line signals, line communication, line interference is to understand the particle system of you, right? That's all levels in you. I want you to understand these more because we have a quiz coming up. What? We just had a test review and evaluations. What are we talking about a quiz? I don't want to have a quiz until the end of the month. Well, no, we're going to have a quiz in all positions and what I am doing. I want you to really get into correlation to coordinates, how to channel line center and position location, and how you use all levels of your 3, 6, and 9s. I showed you always in forms. All you got to remember, if you have a 4-line center, 3-line position location, of 6 position location, of 7. All right, so this is off, right? This is low gravity, right? Low equals gravity, okay? That's a 4-line, 1-line cross, all right? So 5 has to come back in position location to calculations, or it doesn't have its triangulation. So in that position location, 3 is what? 3 plus 2 equals 5. So you got to bring 2-line center in rotation interference. Now you can use the alpha channel, or you can use the beta signal in position, location, and directions. So you got the alpha channel into the beta signal. That position locations equals line center location of 2. Brings in calculations of 5, circle location. So once you get into that correlation, this helps you in all ways and forms. Truly understand how to put yourself in position, location of balance. That's how you bring understanding all levels, how you use your scales and numbers in your time frames of space, time, location. All right. So it's very powerful. This is all position, location, and travel. This is balance. This is balance. Okay. This is balance. And this is balance. Okay. This is all time clock system. Bounce, 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 bounce through vibration. Okay. Any of these numbers are offline center. You have to fix it, position, location, to calculation of your thoughts. Either you change the position of negative lines and too many riding cycles and high interference, too much anxiety, too much depression, not enough signals, not enough sleep, and position recharging. So you got to bring your positions back into all line center to back communication system and 4-line channels of calculations. Portal defense line centers in future location. Ooh, ah. So, woo! It's beautiful when you come into the letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, and you truly understand that they become your friends, right? And you see them as your friend. You friend you, which is a relationship of you, which is a partnership of you. You get to know yourself and always inform as a relationship of you. You and you only. Stay in the parallels of your own lanes. And you'll be fine to that correlation. So, yep, that's great. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. I know I did. You got a better foundation locations. To understand how levels it calculates into Father of space of foundations and Mother Earth of foundations. You bring them two together, yin and yang. Process communication of 6-dimensional line centers. All right. So I will see you guys on TikTok. Adios.